This is the Ohio AgNet from the voice you know at the News You Trust studio, sponsored by BASF and Veltima Fungicide. The proven #1 for the toughest corn diseases with long-lasting residual. When you need to be confident your fungicide will perform. I'm Ty Higgins. Visit the Greenville Farm Power of the Past at the Darke County Fairgrounds, July 9th through 11th. You can find out more at greenvillefarmpower.org. And don't miss Dye Real Estate and Land Company's July consignment auction coming up on the 14th at the Putnam County Fairgrounds. To learn more, go to dyerealestate.com or call 419-721-3497. Today's midday broadcast from Pickaway County, the farm of Brad Wolford, for this week's Feeding Farmer Stop, sponsored by Paradise Energy Solutions and Tempty of Sydney and presented by Ag Revolution, disrupting traditional farm service by putting farmers first. They bring the dealership to you with mobile on-farm service for all brands, supported by Fent and Massey Ferguson as your full-service agriculture partner. Brad Wolford tells us about the farm here in South Central Ohio.
We farm corn, soybeans, and wheat in southeastern Pickaway County, and we're, I think, the 8th generation on the same piece of ground. Our grandparents' started this farm in 1803, same year Ohio was formed as a state.
We're actually silking here, and some fields are throwing ears already. Off to an early start in some aspects for the corn crop around here.
Right, yeah, we had a great start, very dry, warm April. We started planting on the 10th of April, and we didn't get a single rain delay. We planted everything in about a 10-day stretch, and we were off to the races from there with the corn.
Beans, another story.
Yeah, beans, they started off looking really good, and then that first week of May, we got that frost, and a lot of the beans that were up and had leaves emerged, they got smoked off, and we ended up having to go back in a few weeks later and plant them again.
Kind of a welcome change as far as the moisture in this part of the state. The past couple of years, the rains have dodged, particularly Pickaway County.
Yeah, definitely.
2 years ago especially, but last year was no exception. This year, you think moistures are about where they need to be?
We've been pretty good so far. We're getting to the point now where we could use some moisture, but so far, about the time we start to get dry, we've been getting the rain that we needed, so I'm happy with it so far.
Now here's something new that they've discovered as they cut their wheat and they're starting to bale straw. Some challenges you've never seen before, a literal sticky situation.
Right, so our wheat was flowering first week of May when the frost came. We knew we were gonna have some damage as far as yield went. We got into it in the combine. We were looking at 40 to 50 bushel wheat on the first couple farms instead of 100 like we're kind of used to or hoping for. We run a stripper head and we strip the wheat, so we didn't have to run any of the straw through our combine, but some of the guys in the area ran straw through their machine and had noticed how wet the straw was and how it kind of gummed up their machines and plugged combines up. And so when we came back through to mow it and start baling, generally when we mow it, we can bale right behind the swather. And this year we've had to mow it and let it sit for a few days because it's holding a bunch of, we think, sugar from where it didn't use the nutrients to fill out the head of the wheat plant.
Gumming things up. What are you seeing with the machine and also with the straw as it lays there?
So the biggest thing is you drive past the field and it looks dark, it's black. It kind of looks like you're baling straw in August instead of the end of June or first part of July. And then we've been having issues with it gumming up the inside of our baler. We were baled a couple days, and then we had bales that were coming out a little bit crooked. One side was longer than the other, so we cleaned the baler out, and we were finding that the bottom corner of the bale chute was gummed up with sticky, wet straw that you don't feel in the windrow necessarily. And then as it goes through the baler, it kind of squeezes that moisture out of the inside of the stalk instead. So something new for us. We were hoping to be done a long time ago, but we've had to let stuff sit a lot longer than what we anticipated.
That's Brad Wolford here in Pickaway County, our stop for today's Feeding Farmers. Let's get a check of the forecast now with Ryan Martin, brought to you by Seed Genetics Direct, the #1 fastest growing and largest Ohio-based independent seed company.
Warmer and more humid conditions are trying to build across the region. Now, to be clear, this afternoon we're still going to have to watch for a little bit of moisture down in far south central parts of Ohio. This disturbance down in eastern Kentucky and the Tennessee Valley is still wanting to throw some moisture this direction. But honestly, a bigger story coming on heat and humidity to finish the week. Showers and storms coming with that as well, especially on Friday. I'm Ryan Martin.
Ryan, thank you. Today's market analysis brought to you by Louis Dreyfus Company. Excited to bring a brand new soybean crush facility to Upper Sandusky. Learn more about marketing your soybeans with LDC at 574-566-2113. In May, ethanol exports totaled 189.7 million gallons, up from 171.6 million gallons in April. Canada was the biggest buyer of U.S. ethanol, followed by the Netherlands and Colombia. Multiple media reported that China booked 300,000 metric tons of U.S. soybeans for loading in September and October. Those sales, though, have not been confirmed. Kind of a mixed bag here at midday for the corn, beans, and wheat. July corn down 6 3/4 at 435 3/4. December 458.5 down 5 3/4. Soybeans for July 5.5 cents to the plus side at 1202 1/4. New crop November 11.98 a bushel, up by a quarter penny. Wheat for July down 2 cents at 607 1/4. The September contract, 615 1/4, down by 3 1/4. Live cattle for August, $1.87 lower at midday at 236.55. October 232.40, down 162. Lean hogs for July, 47 cents higher at 93.92. August 98.70, up 177. And September feeders down 177 at 355.62. This is the Ohio AgNet.